All right, people, welcome back. Today's the 4th of February. Again, we're going to continue with this really interesting thing. Craziest, darndest thing you've ever seen. To remind, to reveal to, it's so simple, it's actually stupid simple when you rediscover it. Guess what it is? It's rediscovering what you really are and how you operate. Again, we reminded you, you may have heard of, or has it happened to you, where you thought of someone, right? And the phone rang, and there they were, right? And I always say with my great words, I would say, well, I don't know what you guys were talking about, but we know one thing. You weren't using bodies to talk, right? Oh, see? You've been doing this. The thing I'm going to tell you about that we just did in Washington. You've done this all along. I'm not giving you something that I do, and just did, by the way, that you don't do. You just don't realize it. Well, sure, I didn't either until we got rid of some of life's layers. You see this really neat thing that's available. It must be good because the old story, the very small few that can't have you being free, they will, they'll be desperate to demonize. You see? Yep. So the good news is, you've seen the news. We keep up on things going on in Washington. Yep. So do you. Because it's become kind of a COVID thing. Biden's popularity is well tied to the health of the nation rating. And he had his, I guess, I forgot, the big 4th of July announcement. It would be, the COVID would be all defeated and all said, and then it didn't happen and blah, blah. But now he's making a pivot, but a slow rollout. It's really neat. You know, we said in the last tape, it's a coordinating. My goodness. A lot of decent people are on. They're not anti-anything. They're not anti that you got sick. They're not anti-vaccine. No. There's just been a difference in management, I think, is a very good way to put it. It's there. You have this flu. Well, you know, and there'll always be some who won't vax, and let's not have mandates because that's not good versus have it be one's own choice, that kind of thing. So Biden's pivoting back to that. Rather than mandates, have it be by choice. And he says, we'll probably always have this as a, what was the word? A new normal, that it'll be there, and that we'll have to do the masking indoors. Giving you a little update here. Masking indoors. Okay, I'm giving you a little update. That we receive, by the way, I told you, our online news service that we like is Axios. A-X-I-O-S. It's free. These are the same people that founded Politico, the other big online news service before this. And they were from mainstream media. When we know Mike Allen was with the Washington Post, then Time, then formed Politico, and then with his friend Jim Vandehey, I don't know him, Jim Vandehey, they formed Axios. They're kind of a pretty good snapshot. They're kind of the modernized way to do the news, and they're really pretty accurate. I've only seen a couple areas where they might err. Not me, not us, but they, of course, yeah. Anyway, so it's a good snapshot. So I'm giving you tidbits of what I received on Axios, yeah. So Biden's condition, his ratings, you see, well, because of the economy, you know, the inflation and that kind of stuff, and things going on, and how the new Delta thing, a couple, 3 months ago, killed his, what they call the 4th of July freedom from, you know, celebration. So, with no big splash, a pivot. He's declaring back to normal, a new normal, yet facing pressure to back off the you know, the forced or mandated vaccine versus personal choice, that kind of thing. And saying, again, the only remainder will be that it's there to live with, and still do the indoor masks. And they're claiming that that there are fewer deaths, you know, because of the thing. So now what you're getting is, and he has had, we didn't realize this, now it's shown that he's always had people in the camp. Some doctors, depends on who you talk to, they have so many on either side, their own people that say yes, no to mandate, or this or that, you know. So they've had their own struggles, tugs of war, tuggles, good word, you know, tuggles, covering that one, I hope. Whereas the Republicans, they've come on kind of strong, and now they are backing off a little on this anti-vax, but rather no mandated, you see, vax, and leave it as a choice. So they're kind of getting moderate too, because they realize it's hurting them in the polls. Well, People, all they have to do is to get together, work together. Yeah, I'm very happy. But again, we opened with saying, we were sort of talking about such claims in the prior little talk we gave. Oh, about how but never mind that I'm telling you I'm doing it, which we just did. No, it's something you do all the time, but I have the advantage of just a little bit of the unpeeling of life's layers that this guy Hubbard developed. You know, here's a Congress, some lecture, The State of Man. Really interesting. Gosh, these talks he gave. Woo, man. He was a lieutenant in the Navy, and then a researcher, and all this, and a writer, yeah. And gosh, he did a lot of homework, and I'm astounded. I had not heard these lectures. No, they're amazing. I heard some, but not these. And gosh, so it's a reminder that you really are doing these things anyway. Look out the door. When you see people, look outside, people driving by. We're in the car, by the way. We don't drive. You see someone while driving, they talk to the camera, and that's called a live stream or podcast. We're so righteous while we sit still, of course. We're trying to. In Palm Beach, it's an island, and then we're across the water sometimes, as we are now. And in West Palm, looking out at Palm Beach, a little island. And the edge of civilization, we kid you see? The edge of the wilderness, yeah. That people, if you look out there, the point is to see people out there, yeah, everything they have, they didn't have before, and they just decided to have it. So the whole thing we get back to, trying to communicate it in a way that gets our attention, yet with the good news, it's so simple, it's stupid simple, because you do it anyway, yeah. And all we're trying to suggest is, and take it easy, no big gulp. This is a big thing to gulp, to get back. You, the rest of you can't do it as a big gulp. Don't. Just do a little bit. It's all I've done. It works. So again, the reminder, one of the best ones we can catch you with, you've heard of, or it happened to you. Again, you think of someone and, oh, the phone rings and there they are. And again, I say, well, don't know what you people were talking about, but we know one thing, don't we? You weren't using bodies to talk. Oh, my goodness sake. Yeah. So beings aren't a physical thing. This is good news now, and it's a little bit deep in the theory, but you can unpeel it. You can roll through it in a couple of books he's written here that introduce you to something to look at again, as you haven't done for a long time, called, about you and what you can do. So look outside. People are doing this. They create by decision. Thought precedes anything that happens. Get an idea? An idea is so overlooked as man's most valuable thing. A thought, an idea, and then a decision. Decisions, I know it sounds stupid. You might think, oh, I knew that. Really? But people get bogged down, and then they start thinking they can't, because little voices say, no, you can't. You're all excited about something you see, an inspiration, someone gives a talk or a movie or music, and you're, I'm inspired, I'm going to go and do this thing, and then a voice says, no. Those are layers of life. You are not the layers, but they are your layers. The happy ones are the ones that we can recall. They aren't the ones we're interested in. Or even a negative one. That's not the key. For example, if you have a knife in the leg, we said the other day, we can take it out and have the doctor stitch it up and, put a bandage on it, right? It might be interesting to know why it happened for you. You see? Yeah. No, it might have been the only thing in your life, some momentary misconduct or a one and done thing, right? But actually, things like that typically aren't the only negative that goes on for a person. Now, typically they aren't. Anyway, the point is this: if you got a knife in the leg, a non-survival-like thing, ouch, right? Go to the doctor, the thing, stitch it up, whatever. Okay, take the knife out, put something on it, and go to the doc. We're into docs, yeah. But I would suggest that there's something you're aware of that, okay, and happy thoughts and that thing, happy memories, that memory, but it's things you aren't aware of. That's why you see people in Washington we were talking about, which is the whole purpose of our talk. You have your life to live as a person and at home and on the job and so forth, or at school, and then there are the people that are in charge of the country, yeah. Of course, all of us are. One at a time we vote, yeah. So actually, that's kind of a good thing. We vote, yeah. And speaking of the nation, the power is really in each individual voting right. Also, did you know that, how you handle a nation, other than people have to have to be on the job and cover certain committees and things like that. But other than that, you know how you handle a nation. No, you have each person get rid of those life's layers that they didn't know they have. And here's the point. You've seen it, haven't we? Some people, you know, pretty darn neat. Your judgment isn't really lacking. You know someone, think of someone that's pretty cool and neat and done so much good for so long, and then, ooh, they do something kind of dumb. It's not that they're bad or evil. No, they have some layers of life that got restimulated and they're off on a wrong direction. Yeah. I didn't know this, but just as sure as you agreed it happened to you or your friends, typically you were in the past, you thought of someone and then the phone rings, you can do that with people in Washington. You've got good intentions. You like what they're doing in the main, this one guy you thought of. But gee, these things that are up and running, right? They need to be fixed. Yeah, they need to be fixed. And you can actually become that person. And not have him do his things, but do your things. You see? Yeah. Right. There's a little lesson he talks about. He says, if a tiger crosses your path, the wrong thing to do is run, especially if you have a body, right? So no, you become the tiger. Sounds silly, yeah. And then have him do your things, not tiger things. And then he uses the couch. You sit on the couch for an example, right? You know, become the couch and have the couch do your things, not couch things. Yeah. No. And by the way, back to the person, don't become the person. No. Because you won't see the person change, but you'll change a little because you're becoming the person. That isn't what you want. No. You want to become the person and have them do your things. Guess what? You do it all the time in a quick, fleeting thought and don't realize it. Yeah. You see the kids, they need a little something, one of them's a little acting up quickly. Right away you're on it. You know what it is all about. It's all handled at home. It doesn't seem like a big thing. Oh, it is. You actually have duplicated, you know, you duplicate what's going on with your youngster, real little one, for example, and you know right away what to do. She's all crying, or she's only like 3, and she's crying and acting up and all this stuff, right? And you give it a little something that's kind of fun and happy. A rattle, a baby rattle, is not a joke. No, it's the solution. Even in Washington, a baby rattle. Oh my God, hang up now, guys. Yeah, it is. It is, but it isn't meant to make fun of people. That's the level of dealing with a youngster. Give them something happy, they start laughing rather than crying. Yeah, you see, it's called giving them a better problem. It takes their attention off the thing that wasn't so good, which is stimulation of that little youngster's layers of life. By the way, old spirit, new body, just back, you know, something got re-stimulated. Yeah, okay, good. So in Washington, the secret sauce by this guy Hubbard. I'm just holding this up. These are the printed transcripts of some lectures, I guess you see I've written on them. Yeah. This one's called Zones of Control. Can you see it? Zones of Control and Responsibility of Governments. Yeah. He says in there, this gets into another little area. If you know about something, you're responsible. And if you want to know more, you're more responsible. Ooh, well, I didn't write it. No. He's pointing out things he's noticed and said, these aren't believed. Oh, we don't believe a word of his stuff, he says. Check it out. If it isn't real for you, good. Like anything, you know, never compromise with your own reality. So, that little baby that was crying and all stuff, and then mother gives him a little something to look at until he starts to laugh and giggle. He's got the rattle and he plays with it. That is not a nothing. That is not a small thing. No, it's not. And we aren't accusing people in Washington of being babies and need rattles. No, but it's the same doggone thing. Hubbard says if there's programs up and running, decent guys, but suddenly doing something not so good, or some that chronically do things that aren't so good, you know, you're right. A wrong is not okay. You're right. What do you do? Until they can get rid of their life's layers, that's the solution to each. You'll see, check it out. I know you're going to. Okay, you see a guy up there running, a program up and running and not so good. One, he says, don't combat, don't fight, don't get into combat with them because you become turbulated, enraged. You know, when a plane flies, it hits turbulence. That's called becoming enturbulated. You know? One, don't fight them, don't combat them. Hubbard says, don't tell me to anyone. This is secret sauce. Yeah, until they get rid of those layers of life that are driving them unknowingly to do crazy things out of the blue. Don't combat them, you become interpolated. Number two, don't try and stop them. You'll lose because they have to have a game. Oh, geez, you don't mind. Okay, three, secret sauce. Door number three, give them more problems, he says. Yeah, yeah. You can go and do this by writing a letter and getting in touch. You don't have to just think of them and then have them call you like you do with your other friends. So door number three, give them problems. Different ones, better ones, yeah. And he gives the example, swear to God. He says, if you're in the Navy, he was a lieutenant. If you're a low rank in the Navy and you want to become an admiral overnight, he's telling you about a rank lower than him and then one above him. Just shovel a whole bunch of problems along the line. They'll do that. But he says singly, the real beauty, this from Hubbard, the real beauty is this. Borrowing the old saying, if you build a better mousetrap, the whole world will beat a path to your door, right? You heard that, right? He says, if it had just had one word, problem. Give them a better problem, and your problem can be a sane, S-A-N-E for the mask I want to pronounce, sane problem, right? And effectively, it pulls their attention off of the insane things. They aren't insane. The doingness was, but they aren't insane. No. And this great thing that helped me, because you can get pretty mad at people sometimes. I can. Woo, man, don't ask my friends. Oh, man, the barn talk. Don't ask them. It's some of the things the Trump people are doing and the Biden people. Yeah, well, we got good news for you. We have only good news, and it's not about me or what I can do. It's about what you can do because you've done it. You've done it. You're doing it every day without knowing it. We're just going to get you to step back, gather the reins, as it say. If you fall off a horse, get on and gather the reins. If you lose control, gather the reins or collect that horse, as they say at the horse shows, which I'm not involved in. And why am I talking about this? I have no idea. So you give them a better problem, and it's the same problem, and it effectively takes their attention off of that one. Wow. Wow, you do it with a little child. You do it. You've done it. Well, I'm not here to compare, saying you only do it with a little child, and then this. No, it's the same thing. You can write to them. You have a friend that knows them. Make a campaign contribution. You get access. Whatever the game is, doesn't matter. Get on, get a YouTube channel like this and talk. Yeah, yeah. You see? And Trump, of all people, because I've noticed a few of these and maybe met a few of them over the years, oh God, worked with a few of them. You can be, a volunteer, get on a committee, be paid staff, run for office, welcome. It's just called work. Yeah. Trump, what were we going to say about him? Yes, he had a platform that got him elected, to die for. And I've noticed pockets, haven't you? What you see, you see. He's really sincere when he gets someone sitting next to him from another country and they shake hands. That looks pretty sincere to me. Then, because he's got some people in the camp there that maybe aren't working in the same way that he is, so he loses. He's responsible for them, but he's not them. Do you see? Yeah. You see? He's responsible for their actions, yeah. And we gave the example. He had that North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, right? The head of North Korea, remember, jumping up and down, all excited, no more nukes. Yeah. Trump couldn't have said to Kim, we said the other day in the same talk, he could have said, hey, scum, get rid of your nukes and we keep ours. No. There's an official translation available where Kim was saying, God, Trump helped us see it. We're young, yeah, we want to have a long life. Right? Reagan and Gorbachev, we always give you the example. President Reagan and Michael Gorbachev, right, together. Oh, in spite of how bad Gorby and the Russians were, or Kim and the North Koreans, or not us, of course. Trump says, hey, we weren't so innocent, And some are more than others. I got all that. But Reagan and Gorbachev, remember, they got together. No more nukes. End of it. Short and mid-range nukes. They didn't have long range then, and I don't think they do now. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Again, forgive moving the mask. It's not here for COVID. Not here. It's because we're having dental work done and we're saving you the shock. Yeah. Yes, so, Reagan and Gorbachev, no more nukes. 4 summits, that fancy term for their meetings over 2 years, none, and on to the other countries. Well, they weren't there long enough. Reagan did this, and since they're notables, I'm going to give you an example. He got Gorby to be Gorby again. We even know Gorby's wife's name, Marisa. Why they're hanging so much? Sup, dog? I mean, it's the best. You know, today it's called Russia. Back then it was the Soviet Union. Do you realize what Reagan got Gorbachev to do? The Soviet Union, a grabbed bunch of countries, you know, controlled by the communistic Russia, right? It's the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, USSR, right? Gorby undid it and took it back to just Russia and let them be. And people have the rights to do stuff and everything. One term was glasnost, and the other was perestroika, the two terms. One means undo the whole thing, and the other means people have the rights. Gorbachev did that. Here's why. All people, I didn't know this, so don't go giving me credit. I didn't know this. But Hubbard discovered, he said, don't believe any of this. No, don't believe it. Check it out. And by the way, why would someone else have to discover something about us? That's interesting. Yeah. That all beings are basically good. That means originally. Yeah, how can you be bad before you decided to be? You know, why feel guilty about something you haven't done? Different churches say different things. It's good. By the way, it's only referred to as a religion because of the oldest and truest definition going way, way back. It addresses you as a spirit. It doesn't add new beliefs nor cancel anything. No. People of every kind of religion, some I've never even heard of before, they've jumped in and used this stuff. It's a method, an applied technology, an applied philosophy, and it's called a religious philosophy because it addresses you as a spirit. It's a method to unpeel life's layers. They only have one thing. That's all they do. You'll like it. You'll like what I'm going to tell you. I know you will. All they do, all they can do is enable you to find out things that you already know. They don't know the things. And I don't know how your day went today. Who do you need to be telling you how your day went? You know, psychiatry, the difference is psychiatry tells a person what's wrong. You know, under the guise of asking questions and listening, they sum it up, but they tell the person what's wrong and labels it. Scientology lets the person tell. Ooh, that's interesting. What's the definition, by the way, of Scientology? Or where's that book? L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology, Introduction to Scientology Ethics. Okay? Ethics and survival are used interchangeably. An ethical decision is a survival-like decision. A survival-like decision is an ethical decision. He says in there, we aren't interested in making good boys and girls. No. Interested in getting people to be responsible. What, for their own actions? No. For their own actions and those of others until, you know, give them a leg up, give them a little help. Definition of Scientology. What is it? God, we heard all this crap. Scio, S-C-I-O, like in science. Scio means, check it out, knowing in the fullest sense. Knowing, not knowing, knowing in the fullest sense. And ology, study up. So study knowingness, knowing how to know things, not being told or asked to believe. Nothing wrong with being told things, nothing wrong with beliefs. What? Yeah, and he's not a science fiction writer. And this isn't science fiction. That's such a crock of crap. Go look it up. He wrote for magazines. They called it pulp fiction back then. Look it up. Back when that was a big thing. If you're good, you could be a writer. You know, pulp fiction. He wrote under different pen names. L. Ron Hubbard, Rene Lafayette, right? And another one, ready? Remington Winchester Colt. It's also serious, guys. What did he write about? Action, romance, and adventure. At the end of his career, I guess the story goes, the science fiction guys came to Ron and said, yo, sup, dog, would you write some stuff? Would you kind of humanize science fiction a little? Howard said, yeah, okay. That's how, yeah, those big name guys in the golden age of science fiction came to him, yeah. I don't care what he wrote. My next door neighbor used to read. We're from a very affluent part of town. Next door neighbor, they had a big company in 44 cities, you know. 44 different cities, maybe, you know, they're optical, and, you know, stores where they give you glasses and stuff. They're bought out. And he'd be on the second floor, he's right next door, holding this book out, reading science fiction. I thought, what kind of garbage? What do you read this? He was vice president of our class. High IQ guy. What is this? I'll never forget this crap. Why do you read this crap? Fiction. Who wants... Fiction is one thing, but science fiction. doing a fiction version of something real? What the hell is that? And I was wrong. I didn't know. So Hubbard defined science fiction. I did not know. He wrote a big book in 1980, at the end of his career, a science fiction book, the largest ever written, 1,000 pages, bestseller. Okay, 100 pages of it were the introduction. Oh God! And in there, he told what science fiction is. It's not fiction, a science fiction, crazy version after the real thing. It's not like a fiction version of an egg beater after the egg beater. No, no, no. It's before there was an egg beater. It's a plea, would you make an egg beater? Wow. So it's fiction before fact in science fiction, yeah. Like going to the moon. They're the ones that suggested going to the moon. Interesting, huh? Well, one of the reasons Hubbard said it's a very good idea to do those things, because when people are fighting on Earth, ooh, it gets their attention up there. That's a very interesting thing that Elon Musk is extremely sane about. Hubbard always liked him. He was called Nick Tesla in a prior life. It looks like it's a prior life. Musk named his car after Tesla. And he's never said he was Tesla before, but I am. No, I mean, with an IQ like this guy, what a golden, golden, golden heart and soul that guy has. And we said this, I like her. His mom, May, M-A-Y-E, Musk, I don't know how God ever came up with someone that beautiful. Miss America, I came up with this line I use. Miss America looks with the most beautiful heart and soul, sane, and allowed those 3 children to be raised because she was left suddenly. Abandoned, 3 children, no rent, no food, and she made it go right. She became a nutritionist, a consultant. She might have borrowed a little to get going. A consultant, has clients, yeah. And a model. She happened to be real good looking, so she became a model. Her view isn't she's a model. No, no, no. She's too interested in life, rather than thinking that in the viewpoint of others she's interesting. Look at her. Go Google her if you haven't. If you have not seen who May Musk is, she's 72. Oh, she's now the oldest Vogue international Vogue model. No, she isn't that now because of him. No, she's always been that. Listen to her talk. Listen to her talk. And Musk wasn't the only success. He and his brother together launched those other companies. One was PayPal, and that's where Musk got his money to launch this other stuff. Oh, and the daughter's pretty neat too, his sister. Yeah. Anyway, to me, from my heart and in my eyes, that woman is evidence God has been hanging around. Now, she isn't Musk, but, parents make bodies available for people to take over. She is a being, created the progeny, the children. But it's a sanity like some others. Oh, she's not the only mother like that, who provide us, and somehow without an easy situation, provide a safe space for the children to be. Again, God, she's beautiful. What a beautiful thing she is. No, I do not know her, and I hope someday I get to meet her. And, but this guy, this Musk, this going to the moon and stuff, somebody rattled off the other day, a little more on Musk here, what he's done. My goodness sakes. Yeah. He's the biggest car maker in the world now. Yeah. Yeah. By production. I guess. I mean, he's electric. It helped. It isn't the only thing. Getting cars and trucks electric and eventually airplanes. No, but it's a big thing. Yeah. We aren't all electric yet. There's still gas. Come on, take it easy. Don't cut off the gas. Don't take things all at once. But he's a very bright guy. I just heard it. He gave a talk that dazzled me. I'm going to talk about him just for a minute. I know we've made a pivot. I know we have from what we were talking about. But really, my excuse is that he has a lot to do with you. What he does, what he can do, I have references by Hubbard I'm going to use as an excuse to talk to you about Musk. Yeah. Yes, let's see. We'll get it. He's just fabulous. He has rockets built for 1/10 the cost. Investors in the company do it. 1/10 the cost of the government ones. Yeah. They recover them too. They don't throw them away. 1/10 the cost to make, and they recover everyone. None of them are gone. When one he has 5 in a row, one comes down, another goes up. Whoa, like a pipe organ. Yeah. Part of the reason he wanted to colonize elsewhere, expand Earth, was because of the heartbreak of man's inhumanity to man. He's not a critic. He's a solver. Something else. My God. He has a company called Boring. You know, things are very boring, right? I thought, what's a boring company? I didn't know. He made a statement. You know, on land, and they keep building freeways and stacking them on, you can only go so high with the ramps, but there's no limit to how far down you can go. So they're boring, drilling down in tunnels, and for a fraction of the cost of other tunnels. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. He said, I'll remember it now. You know what he said? There's a little interview with him. I hope to find it. This is so fantastic. You need to follow him, guys. What's it got to do with Scientology? No, he's not a Scientologist. I have a couple of friends that know him. You know, and I've seen their pictures with him. Well, a lot of people have. But he was interviewed. This guy was interviewed, okay? I want to get this. Bear with me. I need to give you this wonderful story about Musk. I can't read my writing. It's so fast, guys. It's so fast. Yeah. He says, solar. He says, sun is this huge fission, F-I-S-S-I-O-N, engine up there. The sun. Solar. You can set up some solar panels, taking up the space that a nuclear plant would take up, and get the same energy free. It's not radioactive. You can set up solar panels that receive the sun, you know, right? In the space of, let's see, 40 by 70 miles. The U.S. is pretty big, right? Like 3,600 miles long and how high? No, in just a little part of one area. 40 by 70 miles, roughly. Let's see, 70. 10 by 7. Let's see, 70 square miles. 10 miles by 7 miles, I believe it said. 70 square miles. Ready? Yeah, that's 7 miles by 10 miles. And supply the entire U.S. with energy. Yeah. Solar energy. Yeah. A solar thing, 7 by 10 miles worth of them laying on the ground, whatever. Get the interview. Yeah. Everything he says backs up. He's fantastic. His mom said, see, Mom noticed this. Today it's more popular. Moms do notice and they allow it. When he was a young kid, real little, like 3 or something, you notice he could read when he's 2 or 3, and reading at a very young age, but he memorized everything. Not just memorize garbage and regurgitate it at test time. No. He built rockets, right? He didn't have rocket men, you know, scientists build them. No. He invented the rockets. He read books and learned how. Maybe one a little better than the other, whatever. He learned how to make rockets, and then had his guys manufacture. Yeah. He says he got it from books. His mom says so. You're going to be, in my opinion, you're going to be thanking his mom for being such an incredible angel. Truly God's angel. I think we titled one of our talks, you know, thank God for May Musk and Joe Biden's recent activities. People, I can't tell you enough. No, we're just a customer, a fan, you know, a customer of this Hubbard stuff, this Scientology. Buy a book, take a class, you're a customer. Or get some of the counseling. It's called auditing, an auditor. An auditor, the counselor is called an auditor, from the word audio meaning to listen. The counselor is one who listens. Hubbard says the most god-awful, rotten mistake an auditor, a counselor can make is to talk too much. Imagine that. Yeah. You'll ask a question, then just listen. When they're done telling, thank them, and then it's dumped in the dumpster, by the way. Yeah, you aren't that crap. Get rid of it. There are people in their own jail of worry, fear, or guilt because of some little thing they did, for God's sake, or middle, and it makes them feel bad because they're good. This discovery, he said, that all beings are basically good, and therefore, when they do something that they know isn't good, oh God, they feel so bad, and they'll stop themselves from further harming others. They'll get sick, get ill, and they forget they did that, and then they'll say, woe is me. He says a guy on crutches is always saying, I did it. What? To someone, to the self? No, he did a crutch-like thing to someone else, so he'll need a crutch thing for himself. You see, Hubbard, I like this. By the way, if this is good as bad, he says, we are always our own worst executioner, far worse than anyone else would ever be. Guys, do yourself a favor. I told you how I found out about this Scientology stuff. A guy at school, a guy at Harvard told the girl, and the girl told me. It wasn't part of, but it was told on campus. And get this. Yay, ready? This incredibly beautiful girl, she was afraid I was involved. By the way, people have asked me if I'm into Scientology. No, you can't get into it. It gets you out of crap you know you're into if you want to, with the how-to and the can-do. So she was so concerned I was involved in it. The more she knocked it, gee, this is good. Because here's why. In this book, man, there's a free course online about the thing in the book. You have to buy the damn book. I would if I read it. You know, not care unless you buy it. No. For their cost. That's textbook binding. This guy right here. See these notches here? You know, right here? That's textbook binding. See the categories, you know, right there? Yeah. You'll be glad. These set of $18, $28, $30 in a bookstore for a novel, right? Textbooks are like $60, $70, $80, whatever they are, right? Because they're high quality. They're made to last, right? This one's $42.50. Their cost. Yeah, versus $67, right? You'll be glad it's well made. If you can't afford it, because things are tight for a lot of people, man, get together a couple, three, chip in and get that book. No, there's things in the book online free. This is about Heather, the one that told me about Scientology. You know, a small percent are what we call it's in the book. I'm giving you my takeaway, okay. A small percent are what we call suppressive. Sub means below, like a submarine. Press means to push. You know, to push, to squash you, to make less of you, to hold you down, to make you feel uncertain about your reaching. Okay, good. A small percent, 2.5% actually of society, are the actual suppressive. And 20% are not as. What it means is a suppressive person was holding Heather down. And some stranger in Ohio can't. It's someone she's close to, like a relative or a coworker, just for her own good. You know, it happens. I mean, Hitler was somebody's brother, right? Yeah. The sister was nice if he had one, but he was a nasty guy. You see? Not natively, but along the road, he accumulated a thought, well, some people treat others the way they were treated. Maybe that was his thing, but that's one of the classic examples. I have a real difficult time looking at the pictures of. Why am I any different than you? Who could possibly deny that stuff? That's modern history. The thing's way back, just as bad or worse, but you have people in cages, starving, then march them to the ditch, the long trench, and then shoot each one and then tip them over in the trench. They didn't do anything wrong. I mean, then, they're just people. He was ethnic cleansing. He did the same number of Catholics, 6 million of each, not just Jews, or anybody that wouldn't be Hitler, you know. Thank God all the countries got together and they went to fight this guy, and they won. It was not easy because they were big. They were armed. Germany, the leader of the world in military and technology and all that stuff. The people got together, took care of that, you know, freedom for you. So Heather had somebody running a can-have, a suppressive. Well, the way they suppress people, it's in the book. They run a can't-have. So you can't have things. Everybody's bad. The world's bad. This vigilant sweeping generality. It's all bad, all this, but stick with me. I'm your friend. So we become, this is what pins a person to a suppressive. They run a can't-have, so we can't have things, and then count on them, right? And then they'll enforce a must-have of unwanted things. Once they have you pinned, then they have you doing wrong things. So Heather was so concerned. She'd say tomato, pajama, that kind of thing. she'd say, gee, this time I was very enthused. I'd given a lecture to some company or something, what I was doing there. She and her mom were attending. And some big oil company, it was oil products. Not motor oil, but, lubricants, sealers, cleaners, And, we got done and went over to her house, and she said, boy, usually you're very enthusiastic, but this time I think you've gone through the ceiling. Are you sure you aren't part of that bunch? I thought, what bunch is that? She said, oh, bummer. She says, they get so high up, they can only communicate with their own bunch, their own group. She said, high up, I'm ready. I said, what is the name of this god-awful rotten piece of crap group? She says, Scientology, have a drink. Whoa! You see, they're running a can't have on Heather. She was trying to make sure the suppressor runs the can't have on her, and she will dramatize that can't have it around it on others. You see? Yeah. Yeah. See? And anyway, so she's, a neat person, and I didn't have a chance to get back to her and maybe clean her up a little on that. And I owe her a lot, because if we can in any way get some of this across to you. So there you are. Like Hubbard wrote something, and Trump actually, one of the 4 points of his platform was this. Get rid of the IRS completely. Get rid of the personal income tax. Just have a sales tax. Some states don't have an income tax. Like you have a federal tax, but you also have a state tax for 6, 8, 10, 11%. Jersey's 10.9. Besides your 30, if you're in the highest bracket, you're paying 37% federal tax. If you have a lower bracket like 25%, whatever. But you're paying another state income tax, Well, so Trump says, get rid of that. It's called the sales tax, the fair tax. Google it, fair tax. It starts out at 13%. No more personal income tax. You have all your money left, so you can buy things. That creates more jobs. That's how the boom the economy. So it'll start at, the model was it would be 13% to start until the national debt is brought down to zero, and then it's 10% of what you buy. Don't worry about the rich guy. He buys something for $100,000, like a car, and he pays 10,000 taxes. We non-rich ones pay $30,000 for a car and pay $3,000 taxes. So hey, he's paying 3 times as much. Yeah, don't worry. Now some say it'd be a higher percent, or oh, how do you tax the layers? This thing go from the factory to the wholesale. Oh no, then Einstein had an answer for that. Einstein, he says, yeah, a negative person will always find a problem for every solution. Yeah. Anyway, it's there. Trump ran on this. Hubbard pointed this out. The Personal Income Tax Agency is the reason for failing national prosperity. Yes, because it runs a vicious can't have on people. They can't have things. It isn't true the more you make, the more you're taxed. No. The more you make, the greater percent you're taxed. When Reagan became president, from actor to governor to president, taxes were 90 and 91%. Oh, a lot of wiggling and people try to get out of them. Yeah, but that was the bracket. Yeah, he got it down to 45, and young Bush got it down to 39, and then Trump for somebody 37. Right? In other words, they penalize the worker. They make working unattractive. Get rid of the whole thing. You have all your money left. So he says it runs a vicious can't have on the people. They can't have. And then they end up running a can't have on themselves. Yeah. And the main cause of inflation, he wrote in this article, right, is the income tax. That's the main cause of inflation. Yeah. So there you go. So thanks to Heather, the guy at Harvard told the girl told me. Again, it wasn't part of it, it was told on campus. I went back later to thank them, shared it with some people, some article said that, or whatever, about how we, thank them and for having someone on board in a Scientology center. I guess it was nearby in Cambridge, I think, and that's where Heather heard about it. But, wow. You, again, I didn't know about this. I'm thinking of examples because Hubbard got me to take a look. An example is a lot of fun. Is either you've heard of or it's happened to you. Again, we began with this one, right? You think of someone and the phone rings, and there they are. Amazing. And again, I say, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but we know one thing. Bodies were not involved. Buddha's a sound bite. Buddha, that's a rather big sound bite, right? Gautama Siddhartha was his name, right? In India, he did something for the common guy along this line. Got the common guy to be outside of his body, a few feet away. What? Holy crap, I'm not that. I'm not a thing. I can't die. That's a big thing to become, right? No, you can't become that. That is you. But he didn't have a method back then, Buddha, to unpeel life's layers so people would snap back in. The only difference is Hubbard developed the technology. Overnight, success, all that flash in the pan. This guy Hubbard, isn't that what they call an overnight success, a flash in the pan? Really? It has the 3 in front of it. 33, or was it 38 years? It's 30-something, and ended up being a little over half a century. Worked his guts out of his pocket from his earnings as a writer. He wrote a lot. 1 penny a word. No, he wrote a lot. He was a big writer. Action, romance, adventure, not science fiction. Oh, big pharma, the ones that got busted for opioids, they lied, painkillers, and said they weren't addictive, and millions of addicts, billions in profits, and they filed bankruptcy, big pharma, yeah, but there's still some left. And Hubbard investigated psychiatry for the drugging and shocking that it does to people. Ooh. So they attack him. Big pharma pays people, the ones that make the psych drugs, to trash it. Yeah. Like that one woman, she was an actress or something on a sitcom. I don't know her, but they're the ones that were paying for that A&E independent television thing to talk about, called Scientology and the aftermath. And oh God, she was in there for a long time. You don't get into it, it gets you out of things. But she never really did do that. I mean, if it's so bad, and she finally caught on, oh, it's no good. Really? Well, she's what we call an NCG, no case gain. You can't make case gain if you have a knife in your leg or you're taking a pill or whatever your thing is. You know what's wrong with her? That actress you've seen, right? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with her. How can a being, something that's not a thing, be things? Wrongs are things. A being is not things. You can find out again. Take it easy. Open up the first page of one of Hubbard's books and it'll walk you through what a being is. She just has layers of life that hurt her, you see? Yeah. If it's so bad, why aren't people, again, there's close to 8 billion people on the planet, 7.7 or 8, something like that, right? And a small percent are using this stuff, right? But that's a few million people or several. I don't know the number, so I can't, it's millions. Oh, hello. Oh yeah, it is. I don't mean 1 or 2 or 3, just millions, yeah? It's the fastest growing one on the planet, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, how can a not thing be things? Things we are doing it. The being is, all beings are basically good. Hubbard pointed out, how can it be bad before you decided to be, right? Then things later on in life that we get involved in and we kind of make wrong decisions or we're forced to whatever, some more, some less, right? And drag us down a little, right? But see, the being basically, originally, the truth before the junk, you go back to that and the later on stuff are lies. You go back to the truth, the basic, and the lies blow away. Yeah. I didn't know this. Yeah. I did not know this. Yep. Yes, it's really interesting. A lot of basics. There's anyway, a big discovery again. These who don't believe it, check it out. But geez, it's about us. Don't we know? We should know, shouldn't we? Let's have a look here and see if something came up. We should know. Yeah. Just got a little thing here. Oh, I see. Yeah, we did an equestrian thing the other day, January 10th, yeah. So guys, that's it. You thought of something, Aaron? And the phone rang? What? Accidents don't happen, they're made. All things are intended. All things are out there, people created. People driving out there, see them around, walking around, driving. Anything they have, they didn't have before they had it. Well, that makes sense, right? No, they created that. And we lose our create because of layers of life. I told you before, there's hardly anything to tell you. A lot of words for hardly anything to tell you. Because the truth is so simple, it's stupid simple. You've been doing this stuff I told you that we do. Forget that I do it. I only did it because I was reminded of the theory that you can just think of someone and, you know, think they should call you, and they call, yeah. When you get rid of life's layers, it'll loosen it up again. Like Buddha could do that for the common people. They popped outside the body, right? Commoners out on the street over in India, it's a tourist, you'll see this. They aren't magicians, they're just common people doing whatever, singing and dancing around. And they can look at a piece of rope and the thing will go up 1 or 2 feet. Yeah, they're not magicians, they're commoners. You can see it, right? Well, but they didn't use a physical means, a body, to lift a physical thing, a rope. Yeah, you didn't use a physical means to think of someone and intend, hope, or want that they call. It's a quick thought. And they call, you know, it's quick. Yeah. Einstein made an error. The speed of sound, the speed of light was the fastest thing, right? No, thought is quicker. I borrowed that from John Mappin in England, the Scientologist who pointed that out, that Hubbard discovered that. Thought is quicker. You. So anything we imply that we could do before, we told you in advance, okay, we told you, oh, we're so glorious, we're so able, that Biden, his guys, neat people, Trump's too, but right now the Biden guys, are pivoting to doing the right things in those areas that weren't quite so right. And sure enough, Jen Psaki, my God, this beautiful thing with the red hair, oh my God, her speech is so intelligent. And the beautiful blonde Kayleigh McEnary, the one that Trump had for a spokesperson, right? Bright girl, went to Oxford and Harvard and all this stuff. That doesn't mean anything. You have to be bright before you go to school to be able to get through the school. I tell people that don't have a chance to go, hey, what are you worried about? In order to get through, you had to be you and bright before going through. See? Don't take it as a wrong. And maybe if you lived other lives, you've done it before, who needs it, right? Today, less and less. Musk said when they hire people, they don't care if they went to college. They could care less. They care about what they can do. Musk, yeah. And Bezos, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Zuckerberg, Mark, with Facebook, he's a freshman dropout of Harvard. And Bill Gates is a junior, I think, dropout, yeah. I didn't even get that far. You know, it's a badge, you know, bragging on Harvard dropout, all this crap, right? Yeah. So, guys, here we go. So, we told you, just a demo, that you do it. Now, forget me. We put it in writing. It's a title and a description of the prior talks recently. Biden will suddenly declare, no, there won't be a war with Russia and Ukraine. No. Tucker Carlson, not me. Tucker, brilliant comment. Winning against his own Fox guys. He said, what? Russia's not the antagonistic, the aggressor. No, we in NATO are. And then we claim Russia was on this issue. He's right. You know, truth is truth, yeah. So Trump's guys, I told you, would pivot. I'm sorry, Biden's, they're in there right now, would pivot and go along with, and sure enough, Jen Psaki, I swear to God, she's the one that he had to talk. I'm not Jen Psaki. Well, you can become her if you want to, like things out of someone, and they call you. It's so simple, it's stupid, that's all it is. She, this beautiful thing, suddenly said, see it on the news? We retract our statement of the word imminent, meaning it's going to happen. Because we were implying that Putin had made a decision already to invade Ukraine. We are retracting. She retracted in a very beautiful and classy way. Give her a break. Jen Psaki, this incredibly beautiful person with red hair. God, she's intelligent. Her speech, she's so talented. She said, we retract the eminent, that is eminent. The word eminent, you know, imperative, absolute, implying that Putin's made a decision he will invade Ukraine. We retract that. Did you do it? Did you influence? Someone influenced her, or Joe Biden, to have her talk. She's the one, right? Or they just thought it up, right? Well, it's called date coincidence. There are no coincidences. Accidents don't happen, they're made. When you thought of someone and the phone rang, it's you guys, I didn't do it, but you did do it. But without bodies. You aren't physical. Find that out again. It's so simple, it's stupid simple. The underneath and all the layers of life and junk. Hubbard said this, you know. By the way, if this is good, is it bad? He said this, don't believe it, but just to help you. You're a giant, it's a quote, you're a giant who's allowed yourself to be tied down with cotton lint, lint ropes, right? You agreed where to lie, supply the ropes, and how to tie the knots. And he says the only difficulty you'll have in one of these counseling sessions in getting rid of the ropes that are holding you down is your concern for others. Why? Because you're bad? No, because it says you're a giant. It's like the mother elephant with a little infant, gotta watch where she steps. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. There's more to say here, people. I can't give it all on these 1 hour timed little talks. Lucky for you, only an hour. But again, there's hardly anything to tell you. So do a lot of talking about the same tiny thing. I can tell you this: if you were 95 years old or 100 and dying of a ripe old age, you want this information. Because what do they say? When someone dies, they didn't die. They could get another body. Well, you got one this time, didn't you? That was all Greek to me. I didn't know anything about past lives or getting outside the body. I was jealous. And then when it happens, I guarantee you guys, you'll be on the floor. It's the only thing I can tell you. Evaluate. You'll be on the floor in pain, laughing. These Scientology people, I gotta tell you guys. Oh, by the way, I told you, free courses online. You can counsel, you and a friend can counsel each other to take the course online with a real person walking you through the class. No, it's quality. Oh, it's very standardized. Oh, no, if it isn't standard tack, it doesn't work. You can counsel a buddy counsels you. It's free, rather than buy the counseling by the hour. They don't want to say they counsel you. They want you to take the class free for the lower level. For the middle level, you have to go in and pay for a course. Gee, do you mind? It's like going to college, right? And you and a friend will learn, and you can counsel each other. Now, the upper levels, you have to pay for those, and you'll want to. I didn't say they'll tell you you want to. No, you'll want to. And it must be affordable, or people wouldn't be buying them. Yeah. And you know what? He says the counseling gets you out of the mud, right? And the training, keeps you from going back in. It's very valuable. And speaking of that free course online about handling sources of suppression, I guarantee you, they even tell you, once you've got that stuff, they'll tell you a little bit about that's holding Heather down. Once you have that stuff, and you run into one of those guys, they will see the look in your eye and they will shatter. It's a quote from them. It'll happen. You safeguard your house, your family, your job, school, whatever, and Teddy Roosevelt's dad told him, you got to be strong from the inside out. He was a sickly child, Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider, right? He was asthmatic, and the doctor said, don't ever in your life do any physical thing. Sure. His dad had to take him for buggy rides at night for the cool air to breathe, Yeah. His dad said, you got to be strong from the inside out. Oh, he did it. Oh, he did, yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. He's on Mount Rushmore for a reason. He was a good guy. Trump said 3 times, I've heard him, he aspires to be like Tiara. So we have a lot of stories. By the way, Hubbard's dad, Hubbard was a lieutenant in the Navy. His dad, Commander Harry Ross Hubbard in the Navy, was in Teddy Roosevelt's Great White Fleet. He painted those gray ships white, paraded them around the globe for 2.5 years. Speak softly, carry a big stick. Softly. In other words, don't mess with the guy. As he goes and tells each of the cultures, well done, carry on, if we can be of help, because we are made up, the U.S., of a few of you from each of your countries, yeah, and we're supposed to be the leaders. We're right back to tell you we are. And, and that's what's going on. I like this Hubbard guy. I like these Scientologists. They're so good, you guys. They have a leader named David Miscavige. You talk about what I have to say about May Musk. When you find out, you'll be saying things about that leader, David Miscavige, and his people, his staff, that'll be way above what I'm saying. Wow, is he willing to look after you and take a lot of noise and lies and crap? Yeah, they're your buddies. Okay, we'll be back, people. And Watch Biden. From now on, no wars, no problems. You watch. You're going to have the whole world, no wars.